When you grow up without a lot of money, you have to get creative. Back in my day, we didn't have Google. We had to figure it out or freeze the winter. Hey everyone, welcome back to Hey Pops Financial Podcast. I'm Larry, but you can call me Pops. Today I want to talk about a fascinating article I came across by Isabella Chase. It's all about how growing up poor can shape the way we behave as adults. Now, this isn't about stereotyping or labeling anyone. I don't want to offend anybody by the things that I say, but Isabella's article does a great job of highlighting how our past can influence our present. And it got me thinking about some valuable traits that often come from a modest upbringing. Plus, I've got a few stories up my sleeve that I think you might enjoy. So let's dive into these behaviors. Isabella outlines 9 key traits that folks that grew up with less often carry into adulthood. And I'd like to share some personal insights and stories on each of them. First up, value in simplicity. There's a beauty in keeping things simple that you don't always see when you grow up with plenty. For those of us who had less, we learned early on to appreciate what we have rather than consistently chasing after more. It's like Warren Buffett, one of the richest guys around, but he still lives in a modest home and drives a simple car. He knows that joy doesn't come from extravagance. For me, simplicity means finding happiness in the little things, like a warm cup of cocoa on a cold night or a walk in the park with the grandkids. And trust me, when you're on a fixed income, every walk in the park feels like a vacation, if we can get to the end of the park. Now let's talk about resourcefulness. When you grow up without a lot of money, you have to get creative. I remember raising 7 kids. There was always something that needed fixing, and hiring somebody to do it wasn't always an option. We learned to do things ourselves. My wife and I became quite the DIY experts, changing heating elements and fixing dishwashers, even installing drywall. And when we didn't know how to do something, we'd figure it out. Nowadays, my wife turns to YouTube University, as she calls it, to figure things out. It's amazing what you can accomplish when you put your mind to it. Being resourceful is all about making do with what you have and finding solutions when things go sideways. Back in my day, we didn't have Google. We had to figure it out or freeze the winter. Another powerful trait is empathy. Those who faced hardship often develop a heightened sense of empathy. When you've been through tough times, you understand what it's like to struggle, and that makes you more attuned to others' feelings. A study even found that people who grew up in lower income households are better at reading emotions and can relate to that. Growing up, my family didn't have much, and it taught us to be more sensitive to others' needs and emotions. That's a skill that's incredibly valuable in building strong relationships and fostering a sense of community. Plus, when you've had to share a single bathroom with 7 siblings, you learn pretty quickly how to read a room. Moving on, we have a strong work ethic. Growing up with less often means that you work at a younger age. My father was a baker, and from the age of 5, I was helping out in the bakery. I caught mice for 5 cents each. That was my first job. Sounds a little gross now, but it taught me the value of hard work. And for any of my kids listening, yes, that was back in the 1960s. And no, we hadn't invented dirt yet. That's what they think. But when we wanted to go to the movies, we had to earn the money ourselves. This meant early exposure to work and instilled a sense of responsibility and determination. Nothing comes for free, and if you want something, you've got to go work for it. That's a lesson that sticks with you. And let's not forget about resilience. Growing up poor means facing a lot of adversity, but it also builds character. It teaches you to get back up when you're knocked down and keep pushing forward, no matter the odds. I've seen this resilience carry through to adulthood, where it manifests as an ability to cope with life's challenges and bounce back from setbacks. It's a strength that serves you well in every aspect of life. As I always say, if life hands you lemons, make lemonade. Or in our case, make sure the lemons are on sale first. Then there's a different perspective on wealth. For those who grew up with less, wealth isn't just about, having money. It's about security, opportunity, and freedom. I remember when I first learned how little my parents made. It was a shock, but it also taught me that wealth is more about just dollars in the bank. It's about being able to provide for your loved ones and having the freedom to pursue your dreams without the constant stress of financial insecurity. And let me tell you, folks, freedom's not having to check your balance before buying that extra donut. Not that I've had my share of donuts, but my father was a baker, so I've had my share of donuts. Frugality is another trait that often sticks with those who grew up poor. When you have limited resources, you'll learn to budget wisely and save for what you really need. It's about making smart choices with your money and avoiding unnecessary expenses. My wife's sister was a master at this. She managed to get both parents to pay for things without them knowing it. Now, that's what I call a twofer. A two-for-one deal. It's not about being stingy, it's about being smart with your money and planning for the future. Finally, there's gratitude. Above all, growing up poor instills a deep sense of gratitude. Those who've faced hardship often appreciate what they have, no matter how small. Gratitude isn't just about being thankful for the big things, it's about appreciating the everyday blessings. It's a mindset that brings a positive outlook on life and a greater sense of fulfillment. And hey, if you've ever eaten week-old leftovers and felt thankful, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I just thought of something I wanted to share. It really ties into this. It's a short saying by Jenkin Lloyd-Jones, later quoted by Gordon B. Hinckley. It says, "Life is just like an old-time rail journey. Delays, sidetracks, smoke, dust, cinders, and jolts, interspersed only occasionally by beautiful vistas and thrilling bursts of speed. The trick is to thank the Lord for letting you have the ride." And that's what growing up did for me. It gave me an opportunity to appreciate the little things in life and enjoy the ride and not always wait for the end result or the destination, because the ride is where all the joy is found. So there you have it, the 9 behaviors that Isabella Chase highlights in her article, and my take on how they play out in real life. Each of these traits is a testament to the resilience of strength and the character that comes from facing adversity. Remember, it's not about what you have, but how you use what you've got and the values you pass on to the next generation. Thanks for tuning in today. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to subscribe and share it with someone who could use a little financial wisdom from Pops. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, keep moving forward, and remember, folks, life's too short to count your blessings on your fingers. Use a calculator or an abacus, whichever. See you later.